James, seriously, get back here now.
Now, if you're not like speaking...
And all sorts of different things I was never really afraid of, whereas now that
Today, we are learning all about English accents with One Direction. Even if you're not a fan of the band, this lesson will help you better understand English accents and British culture because every member is from a different part of the UK or Ireland. You will see lots of examples and have the chance to boost your English listening. So this lesson is divided into two parts. In part A, we will look into each member's accent and the most distinct characteristics of the region they are from. In part B, we will compare and contrast how each member pronounces some specific sounds, like the TH sound, the glottal T, and different vowel sounds. The best part is that if you watch until the end, you'll see all of this information synthesized so you can take notes and revisit everything you learned with this video. Now, in case you're new here, we make lessons every week to help you learn real native English without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles. Just like Stephen, who says that our channel motivates him a lot. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell down below. That way you won't miss a single one of our new lessons. Well, before we dive into the different accents, let me ask you a question. Do you, like most learners, when hearing about British English, think of received pronunciation, the BBC or the Queen's English? Or maybe the Cockney accent from London, which is often mimicked in films and TV series? Your answer is probably yes, right? After all, these are the most common ones taught in language schools, course books, and shown in TV series and movies. But if you watched the video we made about Harry Styles' accent, amongst others, you probably know that the UK has more than 30 dialects and accents, and they can become quite distinct with just a short trip from one place to another. If you haven't watched that lesson, I highly recommend you watch it next, so I'll link it down in the description below. One Direction was originally formed in 2010 by Louis Tomlinson, Zayn Malik, Niall Horan, Liam Payne and Harry Styles, who are from the northeast, northwest and Midlands of England, as well as Ireland, all of which have their own singular characteristics. However, despite those differences, have you noticed how they sound when they sing? It's with one uniform American accent.
But if I do, it's you, oh it's you, they add up to, I'm in love with you, and all these little things.
Why is that? There are a variety of reasons why this happens. It could be the artist's musical influence, commercial reasons, or the music genre. Whatever it may be, it affects how they pronounce the vowels, which is one of the main characteristics that changes from one accent to another. When they sing, because the muscles are working to project the voice, the vowels are either compressed or extended to fit the rhythm, beat, and melody of this song. This also changes the intonation, word stress, and rhythm that characterizes different accents. Both Louis Tomlinson and former member Zayn Malik are from Yorkshire in northern England. Despite sharing some features, their accents are quite different. Let's take a look at each of them.
What is Louis Tomlinson's phone number? That is a question I won't be answering. My number's got out quite a few times. I like my own privacy, so unfortunately, I'm not going to give you that.
Louis is from South Yorkshire. One very distinct characteristic of his accent is how he pronounces the word my. Instead of hearing a combined sound of two vowels together, a diphthong, as I'd say it my, he pronounces it with only one sound, as in me.
I like my own privacy, so...
So I started going down with my sisters.
People like Louis who speak with a Yorkshire accent don't normally pronounce the vela nasal g at the end of ing words and finish the word with in instead.
That is a question I won't be answering.
I instantly realised it wasn't for me because I realised I couldn't put any input in. I couldn't, you know, give my opinion on this or that because it didn't fit the grain of what we were as a band and what we represented. So that's when it became frustrating for me. That's when
Zayn is from a different part of Yorkshire, a city in the west called Bradford. Zayn is of Pakistani ancestry on his father's side and Irish on his mother's side, so that definitely also influences the way he speaks. We noticed that in the rhythm of his speech.
I couldn't, you know, give my opinion on this or that because it didn't fit the grain of what we were as a band.
A strong characteristic of his Bradford accent is that in words like so, phone, show, go, he elongates the final sound to an instead of o.
So that's when it became frustrating for me. That's when I like to show that on my social media and stuff and like retweet some of their stuff and like show their work. I like to show that on my social media and stuff and like.
Another common characteristic of the Yorkshire accent that both Louis and Zayn share is the tendency to drop the T at the end of words, like that. Louis actually oftentimes drops both sounds in the word that and pronounces it just as at instead of that. Check it out.
No, it kind of just fell that way. No, it kind of just fell that way.
Not proper. I never had a line or anything like that. They never gave me one. Not proper. I never had a line or anything like that. They never gave me one.
You can learn more about Louis' accent and 4 other British ones in this lesson we made, which I'll link down below.
When you kind of enter a performance like that, what goes through your mind is just don't forget the words. That's the main thing for me, and the main tip for anybody out there who's going to do some singing, just don't forget the words.
Liam is from Wolverhampton, a city in a part of central England called the Midlands. This region also has a very distinct accent, especially regarding the intonation. You may have noticed that when Liam speaks, his voice has almost a song-like melody going up and down, depending on the words he is emphasising.
The main thing for me, and the main tip for anybody out there who's going to do some singing, just don't forget the words.
Unlike Louis' accent, people from the Midlands fully pronounce the ing, including a g sound at the end of words.
Who's going to do some singing, just...
You know, obviously the song kind of lends itself to that thing anyway, and going back through our timeline of events.
Another characteristic in Liam's accent is that the letter Y at the end is a short I instead of a long E, mostly seen in other British accents. This is quite typical of more Midland and Northern English accents.
I was in like the last 5 people for it, which I was quite happy with because it's a difficult...
Learning a variety of English accents will improve your listening skills and help you to understand fast-speaking natives, which is why I highly recommend our Fluent with Friends course. Not only will you improve in this area, but you'll learn real native vocabulary, understand the jokes, and you can also be part of our Fluency Circle, which is a global community of English learners just like you. The best part is you can try it for free right now. All you have to do is click up here or down in the description box below. What are you waiting for?
Come up with the title of Heartbreak Weather. I started writing things down, titles, concepts for songs and stuff like that, and then Heartbreak Weather was one of the first things that I ever wrote down.
The other members are all from different parts of England, but Niall is from Ireland. Sometimes this can be confusing because the country, which is an island, consists of Northern Ireland, which is actually part of the UK, as well as the Republic of Ireland, which is not part of the UK. The Irish accent also varies from region to region. Let's look at some characteristic of Niall's accent, who is from the Midlands region of Ireland. One noticeable characteristic of the Irish accent when compared to the British accent is that while in most British ones, the R is non-rhotic, so it's not pronounced. Irish people, however, do pronounce the R. They have a rhotic R, which sounds more similar to Americans. Check out how Niall pronounces the words started, heartbeat, weather, and first.
You come up with the title of Heartbreak Weather. I started writing things down, titles, concepts for songs and stuff like that. And then Heartbreak Weather was one of the first things that I ever wrote down.
Another feature of his accent is the final diphthong in words like now. The way he says it sounds more like an O sound.
Well, he's definitely more famous now, and he's starting to change now that he's had a hit. Well, he's definitely more famous now, and he's starting to change now that he's had a hit.
Times when I felt good and I felt happy were like the happiest I've ever felt in my life. And the times when I felt sad was like the lowest I ever felt in my life.
Harry Styles is also from the north of England, and his accent was highly influenced by the places he's lived in. However, he's probably the band member whose accent most changed over the years. For example, you can notice how his intonation has changed, but also how oftentimes he pronounces the word little with the flap T Americans use, or something in between the flap T and the glottal T.
Martin. I think he's a pretty wonderful man.
For more on Harry Styles' accent, don't forget to check out the lesson I mentioned at the beginning of this video. If you'd like to learn even more British accents such as Cockney, Scouse, Scottish, and even the Queen's English, then I highly recommend you check out these 2 lessons, which I'll link down in the description below. Now, let's contrast how some common sounds in the English language are pronounced by the members. The glottal T is the dropping of the T sound. It's like if the person speaking swallows the T sound in a word rather than speaking it aloud. It results in a stopping of the flow of air and then a release.
This one. Do you dislike any of my tattoos? Do you dislike any of my tattoos?
There was a bit of treading water. There was a bit of treading water.
Yeah, I mean, she's a total legend, so it was definitely a privilege. Yeah, I mean, she's a total legend, so it was definitely a privilege.
Words ending in Y are usually pronounced with a long E sound. This is how most members pronounce it. Liam, however, tends to pronounce it as a short I in words like pretty, easy, and very.
Is he happy? I'm happier than ever. Is he happy? I'm happier than ever.
Pretty amazing, actually. Pretty amazing, actually.
You'd say something sarcastic, they'd go, really? You'd say something sarcastic, they'd go, really? There you go.
The TH sound is a very characteristic sound of the English language, and although it's mostly pronounced as V when voiced, like in that or this, and when unvoiced, like in think or theme, the pronunciation of the TH can vary quite a lot. Let's see. Louis tends to pronounce the unvoiced TH more like an F sound in words like think and thank. The same is true for Harry, who has a lot of a Manchester influence in his accent.
I think almost by accident, especially here. I think almost by accident.
I just think he's really good. I just think he's really good.
Niall, in his Irish accent, alternates between the standard voiced V and pronouncing it with D or T sounds.
That's the thing, yeah. That's the thing, yeah.
In most northern accents, the diphthong, 2 vowel sounds, in words like dance and last, become one single sound, a flat A.
Maybe. I mean, I danced around a load of different genres.
Because I hate dancing and I've never done it before. Because I hate dancing and I've never done it before.
I ain't had that many of them. To be honest, I've had like 3 in rotation for the last like 9 years. I ain't had that many of them. To be honest, I've had like 3 in rotation for the last like 9 years.
There are only a few British accents that don't drop the H sound in words, RP being one of them. You can see Louis, Liam and Harry pronounce words like him, have, etc. by dropping the sound. Zayn, on the other hand, is not consistent with dropping it. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Niall, however, always pronounces it. Check out the H in these examples.
28, which is why I got it tattooed on my hand.
It's been a long old time of that happening.
It's been a long old time of that happening.
Started dyeing my hair blonde highlights. Started dyeing my hair blonde highlights.
I always kind of pop in when I go home. I always kind of pop in when I go home.
All of the band members, except for Niall, change the sound in words like up, mum, done and stuff for a round sound. This is a common feature of British accents in the central and northern part of England. Take a look at how Niall pronounces it and how the others do it.
So I don't have to switch around with the old adapters and the power and stuff.
Best breakup song would have to be. Best breakup song would have to be.
And I'd never really done a shoot like this.
So let's recap the English accent features we mentioned in this video. As it's common in British and Irish English, all of them drop the T sound when speaking words like little, got and right. In the South Yorkshire accent like Louise, you'll hear me instead of my, the drop of the T at the end of words like that, and a more open O sound in words like show and go in Zane's accent from West Yorkshire. Most northern accents drop the H in words like hair, horrible and hand. Niall's Irish accent pronounces it in all words. Another characteristic of the Irish accent that differs from the British is the R sound that is fully pronounced, while in most British accents you have a non-rhotic R sound. Intonation plays a big role in the different accents, and it's one of the most noticeable characteristics. You can see how Liam's intonation goes up and down more frequently, while Niall's is more flat. The pronunciation of the ing also changes in the Midlands accent. The G is more prominent, while in the Yorkshire accent it's usually dropped. The TH sounds vary from place to place, and sometimes it's pronounced with a F sound. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and let me know down in the comments below which accent you find more difficult to understand and which one you find easier to understand. Also, are there any other celebrities' accents you'd like us to feature? But now it's time to go beyond the classroom and live your English. Ah, yeah. So what is rhythm? This is the speed and cadence of how you say a sentence. So as I mentioned before, we don't say each word at the same speed. That would sound very boring and very robotic. Now, the rhythm of English might be different to the rhythm of your native language, so it's really important to understand the unique rhythm of English.